Hello Virgo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli. Welcome to my December 2019 horoscope report for you. This is a month where you will get to fine-tune your communications. You will have home and family focus, things involving children, creativity, creative projects, things involving fun and passion. Also, if you're having a little bit too much fun, it might be time to rein it in. I'm going to talk about lots of details for you, and I'll show you the charts and get down into a lot of Virgo specific things. We've got, in general, a little bit of pressure put on Virgo from the Sagittarius placements. Sagittarius placements make a 90-degree angle. I'll show you what this looks like a little bit later, which is a point of pressure. So you may have some pressure to get things done, and that pressure might be coming from me because I'm telling you that this month and January are going to be the biggest months of forward movement for pushing projects and launching than we'll have for a long time with the personal planet retrogrades that will take over energetically starting in February. Of course, the retrogrades are good for many things, and things can move forward and have progress during the retrogrades. But there's a different way of working with the retrogrades than there are with these open periods, and these very open periods are very rare. So if you know, it's holiday time for many people, and you might not feel like, in the midst of all the social connections, there will be quite a bit of that for Virgo right now, amidst all the things that you're doing besides the usual busy holiday things, you might not feel like you can launch your projects or get them out. But the stars are saying it may really be time. So really assess. And this Sag pressure, which is kind of ironic because I'm a Sag too. So the pressure is coming from me directly, and I'm a Sagittarius. And in the chart, the Sag planets are exerting this influence on Virgo placements to spur you to action. Most of the planets, though, are in harmonious Capricorn. And I say harmonious Capricorn because that is for you. That is a fellow Earth sign. So I'll show you what these angles look like. I'll give you the visuals on the chart. I'll give you a lot more information about how you can see these energies present. First, before we do that, I want to do a very quick overview of the month of December. There are some very important things to know about this month. We're in eclipse season. I want you to understand the energy of the month and talk a little bit more about this window. I'll give you the sweet dates and I'll give you the salty dates so that you can have them marked down and you can know when you gotta, put up the china, is the way I always call it. If your grandkids are coming, and it's gonna be crazy in your house, if you get the notice to put up the china, it's gonna be so much easier. So if you know that there are some challenges coming, I'll give you those dates where there probably will be. Then you can just kind of feel out for them and be ready for them when they come. So let's take a look now at these 3 top things to know for the month of December, and those will help you to use the Virgo specific information that will follow. Okay, so I'm going to give you this quick overview of the general energy of December 2019. And it's really critical to understand this before we start putting in the pieces for your sign, because it will flavor the whole month, and everything that we talk about that's specific for you is going to have these 3 big pieces that are just overlaying everything. Okay, so there are 3 main things to know about December 2019. The first is that we have way more sweet aspects than salty ones. This happened also in November. It definitely flavors the month when there are more sweet aspects than challenging ones. Your individual chart could vary, because you could have a challenging time going on in your chart, and then the general horoscopes could be like super sweet, and you could be like, well, the horoscopes are wrong, and they're not. The general horoscopes, your personal charts, are all individual pieces of a very complex total picture. But just talking about the general transits, there's definitely more sweetness this month than there is salty stuff going on. And I will give you the dates for those sweet and salty aspects. Big thing to know about this month, time to get it done. December 9th is when the post-Mercury retrograde transit, Mercury went direct on November 20th, but every day after November 20th until December 9th was this kind of Mercury waking up, changing directions. I kind of see this as like making a U-turn. If you're going one direction, you have to slow down, come to a stop, make the turn, go speed up again. Okay, so this period of time between November 20th and December 9th is like coming back up to speed. All right, but from December 9th through February 2nd is the last major open window of all of 2020. 2020 is a year that is entrenched with inward and backward energy from personal planet retrogrades. Mercury, Venus, Mars, all going to be going retrograde. Mercury will be going retrograde 3 times as usual. And this is just going to be a very internal, with themes from the past type of year. So your time to like push things out in a big way is December and January, and you've got awesome aspects this month to do it. There's a massive Capricorn influence, which is also helpful here because there are just so many planets in Capricorn, outer planets, the ones furthest from us, inner planets, the ones closest to us. So it's a time to strategize, get things done, get organized, make plans, you know, just like really take the bull by the horns and to do things. There's also the Sagittarius influence, which is going to make a dizzying, busy, you know, all over the place, spiral, spinning out, exuberant type of energy, which is really nice as a counterbalance to this very serious Capricorn energy. So we do have those Sag influences, and those are going to be coming in a big way, bringing some lightheartedness and optimism and fun to this otherwise very, you know, focused time. The third thing to know is that the eclipse energies are really, really happening now. Okay, I've been talking about these for months before they actually happened, because they can actually show up as major manifestations in months before they happen. But this month we have the December eclipse, which is December 25th or 26th, depending on your time zone. But the whole month, you know, and before December even and after December, major changes. So to see how this is going to affect your sign, very specifically with great detail, watch my November report for your sign. Okay, because in there I talk about all of the details of exactly where you are on the spectrum for your sign, and how that will manifest for you. I did a whole separate video series, a whole 12-set separate video series for the January eclipses. So look for that, you know, look for your sign, lunar eclipse 2020, Annie Botticelli, and you will find these very detailed storylines of how you are very likely going to experience those eclipses, what areas of life are going to be highlighted for you. Okay, now the last thing I want to do here before we get into more specifics with your sign has to do with the sweet and salty dates. Okay, so the sweet aspects, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, 10th, 13th, 10th, 11th, 13th, 15th, 19th, 21st, 22nd, 24th, 26th, and 27th. And I've got them written down here. Okay, the salty ones, 8th, 11th, 13th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 26th. You'll notice some of these are in common. So there are many days this month that there are sweet and salty aspects on the same days. Okay, so you can either, you know, try to align your things with the days that don't have those same things going on, or you can just feel your way through. An aspect happens on a certain day, but our timeline for how we can experience it can be days before or days after. So you just have to kind of feel your way through. If you're like planning a big launch and you're having a crappy day and it's just not, things aren't flowing, maybe wait until everything feels like, okay, 1, 2, 3, now sync up. You know, it's really important for you to learn to feel these rhythms for yourself. I teach you this and give you guidelines, but you're feeling your way through is my main goal. Okay, so those are the aspects to note. Now let's look at these juicy details about how your sign specific energies are going to show up. Okay, so now that you have all of those goodies about this month, placing it over, you know, the next 13 months, understanding it with all of the layers of intensity that are going on, we can talk about these Virgo specific things. So at first here, I'm going to be using an early degree Virgo chart, but the things I'm going to talk about will be for everybody unless I otherwise state. And to know where you're at in the Virgo spectrum, early degree Virgos are basically August born or 0 to 9 degrees, middle around September 1st through 10th or 10 to 19 degrees, and late is around September 11th through the rest of the sign or 20 to 29 degrees. If you're watching for a Virgo moon or watching for your rising sign, then this is for you equally as for the sun placements. The sun chart, the moon chart, the rising chart are all different perspectives we look at life through, and they're all affecting us. Okay, so now let's get down into the goodies. Okay, so again, I'm using this early chart, but what I'm going to talk about is true for all Virgo placements unless I differentiate out. That pressure I was talking about, Sag, Mercury will be there soon, Mars will get there soonish. All of those Sag placements put pressure, 90-degree angle on your Virgo placements. That is the angle of the diamond. Okay, so diamonds are made from having a tremendous amount of pressure under the earth, and they come out these beautiful sparkling things. You know, of course, they had a lot of pressure to get that way, and to bring out your sparkle, you might have to have a little pressure exerted. Okay, so when the planets move through that placement, it's pressure time. And you've been having a longer term theme of that over this last year, from the end of 2018 to the end of 2019, Jupiter moved through Sagittarius. So in this whole year, Jupiter has made a pressure angle to your Virgo placement at some point in this last year, and that's an even longer term thing telling you to just do it. Do something. Don't let your overthinking debilitate you. That's a big theme here. Don't let your overthinking debilitate you, and just take some action. By the way, this Jupiter moving into Capricorn in December is a really big deal, but I'm going to do a separate video series for each sign on what that looks like for you, so we're not going to cover it here, but do know that it's happening. So that's going into Capricorn, and all these other planets are in Capricorn. Now just kind of note, these are longer term placements. So they've been in Capricorn. They're going to be in Capricorn. They've been, you know, working the Virgo angles for anywhere from a year to many years. You know, so we're not talking about those right now, but there's also a lot of other energy in that space, as you can see. But we're talking about Venus. Then at the end of the month, the Sun is going to get into Capricorn. And as placements move through Capricorn, they make trines, which is the most beautiful, harmonious aspect in astrology. And those are just blessings, blessings that can come without you doing anything, blessings that can come from you doing something. Just sweetness and harmony. So I want to show you the fields of experience that are lit up for Virgos now. Fields of experience, in astrology, we call them houses. Okay, so each of these pie pieces here, these are chunks of experience that we have as humans, fields of experience. And as the planets move through those fields, it brings the energies of those fields into the forefront of our experience. So in the horoscope, we follow seeing where these people, the personalities, the archetypal energies of the planets, where these people are moving through and bringing energy and life into our lives. So let's see the houses that are accentuated. Now we're going to break it down a little bit into the early, middle, and late, but some of the things you'll see will be the same for all of you. Okay, so you can see we have personal planet activity here in the 5th, got it in the 4th, got it in the 3rd. All right, so I think that I moved that off screen. Here we go. Just getting used to the split screen, and sometimes I'm randomly placing things. Okay, so you can see 3rd, 4th, 5th are being accentuated for early degree placements. Okay, so middle, and we'll talk about what these fields of experience bring and the lessons and the opportunities, but let's just see where everybody's at. All right, so from middle, you've got 3rd and 4th and 2nd. All right, and then for the late, you also have this 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Okay, so the things that you all Virgos have in common are the 3rd and 4th. While the middle degrees and the late degrees are going to pick up that 2nd, but not have as much of the 5th. Okay, so let's just see what this looks like. So now let's talk about the things that everybody has in common first. All right, so 3rd house and 4th house. So the opportunities that come with the 3rd house is anything around communication. So you have a chance to fine-tune your communication. You can either through conscious intention, use it this way purposely, or things will happen and you might have it in your face like, wow, maybe communication is coming up for you to be dealt with, okay? For it to be dealt with. So being able to say things in a way that triggers cooperation on the end of the other person rather than triggering defensiveness. It's really easy for us to say something to someone and them take it a certain way and say, well, I don't understand why you took it that way, and you're this way, and you're taking it personally. And it's possible that that's also going on. But there is also a way, an energy to come at communicating with other people that gets by their defenses and doesn't trigger a defensive response. So this third house, as it's getting lit up, can give you some impetus or incentive to see how you can phrase things to reach the outcomes that you want and to reach outcomes that everyone will be happy with. Some lessons for Virgos right now might have to do with being less critical, keeping criticisms, away from other people, like not sharing them unless the person wants it. Some communication stories for Virgo at this point might be criticizing the self, the self-talk, really observing your self-talk. It could also have something to do with this speaking up, so there's this polarity of saying too much, but then there's this opposite end of the polarity of not saying enough. So you might have to give yourself a voice at this time, or you might have to be more discerning with your voice. Okay, so anything around voice. The third house being busy usually means social interactions, interacting with, people, anybody, relatives, friendship, acquaintances, anything like that. So having a chance to interact, and again, to practice this voice, this might be the forum through which all of this comes up. But a lot of busyness, moving around, driving around, doing stuff, traveling is very likely to happen. When the third house is accentuated, then, keep your shoes on because you're going to be running again. Then it also has to do with like devices, communication devices and vehicles. And it just happens to be that as this is getting highlighted for you, this is an amazing time to buy new devices or vehicles. So really the whole month is fine for it. We get out of the Mercury post-shadow period December 9th, but there are a couple of days there before that time that if the right, vehicle or device or something like that works out, it could be perfect. So just follow your flow. So December and January is a really great time to do these upgrades. If you can afford them, not to do more than you can really afford, because the retrogrades might call it into question if you kind of go too far out. But things that have to be done, this is a good time to do things like that. Okay, so all Virgo placements are also having the fourth house accentuated, and the fourth house has to do with your inner world. It has to do with the emotional world. So Virgo energy is, it's an earth sign. It also has a lot of mental energy. It's ruled by Mercury. And so the emotions and the thoughts have a little bit of conflict here, but they also have a little bit of what do you call it? Like a synastry, because the energy of water, of Cancer energy, goes really well with Virgo because it's an earth and water combination. So it's basically about balancing your thoughts with emotions and balancing really worry. With Virgos, every Virgo that I know, and I have a lot of them close to me, worrying and anxiety and overthinking and, just kind of like this constant hamster wheel is a really big piece. So I highly recommend that you find Donna Eden. You will love her. If you don't love her, don't let me know about it, because I think she's perfect in every way and I'm a huge fan. Donna Eden is the cutest, most vibrant person in their 70s that you could imagine. She is like running circles around people who are supposed to be at their optimum, age, energy level and all of that. She's an energy worker. She has an amazing story. She healed herself from MS 40 years ago when she had a death sentence, pretty much. And she can see all of the energy systems in the body. And so she knows how to connect them. So look for her 5-minute routine, 5-minute daily routine. And seriously, do it. Because not only if you have any issues with your health or anything really, but this will help you to get out of your head and to balance out those thoughts and those worries, and to get really just get your systems reconnected. The fourth house also has to do with home and family. So you're likely to see topics of home and family coming up, housing, real estate. And this is a great time, again, for all of that stuff. So healing family issues, healing ancestry, looking into ancestry is something that will come up. Anything having to do with your roots, anything having to do with genetics, genetic testing and things like that. Finding relatives. This is something that may come up for people here. Changing houses, buying, selling houses, putting houses up for sale, add-ons to houses, you know, any kind of improvement, expensive things to buy for houses. All of that stuff is fantastic here. It matches the fourth house focus, and it also matches this time frame that we talked about, why this, you know, this period of time is so open. You may find that you need to just take some inner quiet space too, with all the busyness going on. And this 5-minute routine can be part of how you claim that. Just reclaim that 5 minutes again, you know, every day, and watch the magic. All right, so now there's a couple of places. The 5th house we talked about is active for the early degree placements, and this is coming soon for you middle and late degree placements. So you pay attention here too, but this is going to be staggered, and you might not be feeling this in December or in the early part of December like the early Virgos will. So the 5th house has to do with and brings the opportunities and lessons for questions about creativity. Okay, you know, it's a great time, one of the best times for 13 months to get your creative babies out into the world, to step into something brand new. You know, if you're doing a certain line of work, this could be the time where you're like, hey, all of a sudden now this is what I'm doing. Or you can go back to something else that you had, you know, excitement about, but it has to do with your passion and feeling alive. Whatever makes you feel alive. This house is ruled by the sun, and the sun rules desire. The sun rules, you know, our creative forces. So whether it has to do with kids or whether it has to do with like creative babies, it's the energy of creation at work. So you have that energy accentuated, and it can be very, very supportive to, you know, just having fun and taking a break and relaxing. So even though we have a lot of Capricorn energy, which is kind of saying get down to business, like get your strategies together, having this house accentuated can help you to do both, where like maybe you work less, but you work smarter so that you have more time for fun. So it's like you're getting all your work done, but then you're also somehow having more time. So like creating time warps. If you've never created a time warp, you can look into that. I do it all the time. It's the only way that it's the only way I can do everything that I do. So this 5th house, with the energies being enhanced in Capricorn, is really about creating these time warps where if you need more time, you go into the ethers and create this time. And you know, that sounds a little bit esoteric, and maybe it is, but it's all scientifically based, but that's a whole other story. But the point is, even just on a logical level, if you work smarter, then you don't have to work as hard. So if you want to accept that simple, more simplified idea, then take that and run with it. The 5th house can also speak to like addictions and overdoing fun. So one of the lessons here could be, do you have to rein it in? You know, is it time to rein in spending? Is it time to rein in, you know, anything having to do with something that feels like very addictive to you? So when something makes us feel alive, there's a fine line there between like falling into an addiction with it, where we can't be in our center without it. So that's another lesson that may come up at this time with this 5th house. The second house is being amplified for those middle and late degree friends. So again, that 5th that we just talked about early, so basically August born or 0 to 9 degrees, coming soon for the rest of you. And this 2nd house is really being accentuated for the September born Virgos, or 10 to 29 degrees. And if you're an early Virgo and you're listening to this early, it could be affecting you now, because the things that will be affecting middle and late degree Virgo in December, you early friends are experiencing that in November. And I always put these out early, so you might be in this too. And you'll know if it's coming up for you, because there's a very notable arena, which is money. It's more than money, but the 2nd house will bring in lessons, opportunities, stories about money. Are you making enough? If not, why? What can you do about it? Is it from your self-esteem? Is it from your money consciousness? What can you do about that? You know, asking these questions and putting energy towards answering those questions are the kinds of things that will be really hot as this energy is moving through the second house. And the planet at play here is Mars. All right, so this is the middle chart, but this is true for middle and late. So Mars is this, you know, I always call it the border collie of the zodiac. It's like it rumps and bumps around. You know, you can probably hear one of my border collies rumping and bumping right now, actually, just on cue. Good job. So it's like all of this energy and restlessness. And wherever that energy goes in the chart, it brings this like maniacal focus in a way. If you've ever seen a border collie stare at a Frisbee, it brings that really maniacal focus. And here it is on your money sector. So asking all these questions, maybe it has to do with saving more money. Maybe it has to do with spending less, you know, whatever the topic is, anything from your self-esteem to earning money, asking for a raise. This is an amazing time to ask for a raise. This is an amazing time to raise your rates if you're a practitioner that has rates, or anything there. This also has to do with living sustainably and what happens when we don't live sustainably, you know? And so just kind of like, and those Donna Eden exercises really, really, really can help with this, and can also help with the financial aspect, because if your energy field is running optimally, since money is just energy, it will be easier for you to work with money. You know, money is gets a lot of stuff put on it, but it's really just energy, just like everything else. So becoming aware of where you're sustainable and where you're not sustainable is this question. And this can be anything from eco-friendly things just to how you use your energy in general on a daily basis. And this can also have to do with buying luxury items. You know, it's the place where the material realm comes into focus. And so if you have to buy an expensive luxury item, or you've been wanting to, this is also a fantastic month for that. So that's all happening. Okay, so those are the things that are most on my mind for Virgo. Very exciting overall with the energies in Capricorn being very harmonious to your sign. You've got a little pressure from those Sag placements, which started in November, but that's okay, because it's perfect timing to feel pressure, because this is the window that you want to be forced to do things in. So everything is very much in alignment in that way. So definitely go to my website, AnnieHelpsYou.com. so that you can sign up for my free email newsletter. And when you do, you will get, remember those dates I gave you, the sweet ones and the salty ones? Well, I give a write-up for my email list, special for them, every month, a month early, all the sweet dates, all the salty dates, what aspects they are, what planets are involved, what signs are involved, and what you can expect from those combinations, plus a little general overview written of the month. You get that delivered to your inbox every month, a month early, when you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and sign up for my free email newsletter. It will look like this. And you will also get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up there, plus other free goodies. If you love how I teach and you want to learn, I'm an astrology teacher. That is my main focus. You at AnnieHelpsYou.com. Besides seeing a massive amount of astrology and other blogs on that site, you can see my astrology apprenticeship program. And if you want to learn how to be an astrologer and make money doing that, I can teach you how to do that. I have people often coming out of my course, even before the course is done, already earning money as an astrologer. So massively comprehensive. If you think my videos are detailed, you should see my astrology apprenticeship program. So you can see that at AnnieHelpsYou.com. And for written horoscopes by me, a month early, and lifestyle blogs, including an astrology for wellness blog that is massively, again, comprehensive, go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. And these links that I'm giving you are all in the notes underneath the video. So if you click on more, then it will be there and you can just link straight through. cozybysweetstarlight.com. It's such a beautiful site. Just go there even just to see how pretty it is. And the last thing, get my book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days, with amazing, powerful, radical prayers, mantras, affirmations that will help you claim the life of your dreams. You can get that on Amazon. You can search for Radical Prayer Annie and you'll find it, or you can go to radicalprayerbook.com. It's an amazing handbook for my fellow spiritual seekers. My husband, B.R. Newman, also has all kinds of goodies, offerings, new things all the time at his website, iamhelios.com, iamhelios.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!